just going to share my screen and let's have a look at this. So we need to share the right screen. Alright, welcome back everyone. So I've managed to have a look at Auth. I think it's just temperamental. I think Auth does work. Managed to log in. And then if we now go to, for example, the dashboard route, it appears it's still asking me to sign in. So let's actually have a look here. So console.log user. What do we have here? And I'm also going to get restream chat going, just in case anyone wants to chat. That's absolutely fine. So we're having a look at how we can specifically get Auth to work. That's the first thing we've got to have a look at, is fixing this Auth code. So I'm really interested to see what this user hook gives us. Okay, so we do have a user. So we just need to do if user dot so we need to wait for this user to load. So we need to use the loading. If loading is false and there's no user ID, we want to redirect those people. Now if we go to the dashboard, we've got our user. Cool, right, so user is now looking like we're all good. We've got a feedback table, we've got these settings, how to get your Stripe API key. Log into Stripe dashboard, go to developers, click on create restricted key, name your key, grant the following permissions: customers read, invoices read, subscriptions read, click create key and copy the generated key. Right, so now we're going to choose a fake key just to test the validation. Right, that's definitely working as expected. Now let's go and see in the Superbase local stack whether or not we've actually updated that row in the table. So, and you can see we have. This is the James Phoenix at test. So I'm going to delete these extra 2 rows. We're just going to keep the one authentication. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And I'm going to just test that by looking at the case studies. So we've got the case studies working, Stripe API key. We just try and update that again. You can see that's updating the Stripe API key. Right, and that's an encrypted Stripe API key, which is very nice. So the next thing we need to do is we need to test the Postman route for fetching the Stripe customers. So at the moment we don't have any Stripe customers. This is just a cron job that we're going to run, which will allow us to specifically fetch all of the customers and download all that data. And I think that is now looking correct. We've got like the total payment. I've got 1779 rows. So 3,000 rows, 3,579. Let's run a SQL query on that. Select Stripe from customers, order by total spend. Yeah, that looks fairly good. Let's have a look. So if I take an email like this, and then let's actually go and have a look in the Stripe. And at this point I'm going to actually blur my screen just because it's probably not good for me to be showing you a Stripe dashboard. So let's actually go and have a look and see how much did this person spend with us. So we've done 2 invoices with them. But it doesn't look like we're getting the true total spend. I think there's a bug here. So let's go back in. Because we should be getting both payments, but we're only getting one. We're only looking at active ones. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go into this function because it's clearly giving us a problem. So the problem we're having is inside of our libs, inside of the Stripe utils, this here, we're getting the invoices for customers. Starting after. We need to add, this is a task to do. We need to add a Stripe API key. Add in a Stripe API key. And right now we are testing and fixing the Stripe fetch customers API route. So I think the problem is here. So in our API, in our cron, when we're fetching customers, we're calling this fetch and store customers. This is a job where we get all the customers. This is only getting the subscriptions, but it's not necessarily getting the past subscriptions. So that's the problem. So I should say something like, this is only getting the single subscription, but not all of the previous payments. We need all of the previous payments. We might even want to use this thing in the lib that we had for the Stripe utils, which is in here. Fetch Stripe customers with spending. Should we use this instead? Stripe utils. So what we need to do is go and have, I think we might want to use this function instead. So let's pull this into Composer. I need to make sure that my cron route, API route, pulls in the total spend for all of the current active subscriptions. And we'll just put in the cron. And I'm going to put this in a Composer actually. Stripe utils, cron, fetch customers. Can you help me make this cron more robust? So what have we decided to use now? Fetch customers with spending. We've got this insert, which is just telling us email we're going to need to we also need to add on the profile ID for each set of customers, as we are handling this from multiple Stripe accounts via getting their API keys. Here is the SQL. Just giving it all the SQL at the moment, so I'm just copying this across. And let's also add in a couple of files. So we want like encryption, we want the decryption, where is it? The decryption is somewhere here. I just made this a floating window. Oh yeah, like the decrypt API key. Encrypt API key. Let's have a look at what we get from this. That's what we're looking for. Nice. Let's try giving that a run. Fetching profiles, fail to parser is not null. So just pop this in there. Running that. You got this. Cannot be expanded. You might want to try data.descriptions. Okay. So again, we just keep putting so many of the errors into Composer. What's happening here? Payment method is undefined. Invalid request error. That seems like we're still doing it. Let's have a look at the rows. Total numeric spent. Right, I'm going to say this implementation is being too slow. Can you please help with speeding up the implementation? Cancel that. I'm just pasting the errors in. Can we speed up the query by using a promise.all? Right, let's give that a try now. Do that. Alright, let's have a look at this. Request metrics buffer is full. Rate limit exceeded. Alright, so we're just trying to fix some rate limits at the moment. So we've implemented that. Let's restart the node server. And then yeah, so we're probably going to need to have a background job to do this long term. That's probably going to be the case. So if I just take what's inside of the Supabase SQL at the moment, then we can add that to the seed file, which means we don't have to keep logging in. So I'm going to just ask Claude in a separate window, can you take what is inside of the profiles table in my local stack Supabase and save this as a seed.sql. I want the data from the profiles table. So we're going to exit SQL, and then we're going to run this command here, which is going to select all of this and then output a seed.sql. I'm not getting any outputs. Just checking our profiles table. So we do have a profile and we've got an encrypted Stripe API key. I'm not getting outputs from the Postgres container, but it does contain data in the profiles table. No, I mean for my seed script. So this fetch is taking quite a long time, isn't it, to fetch these? Can you help with that? Oh, okay, here you go. Docker PS, grep Postgres, and then yeah, okay, this is what we want. And then we're just going to change the container ID, which is this one here. So we're going to change the container ID. Postgres, this one here, this container ID, and that inside would generate a temp SQL, and then we're then going to do a Docker copy command on that, on the same container ID, which again is this one, and that will get our SQL into a seed.sql script somewhere. Let's run that. Could not find the temp seed. Did this one work? That one did. If I go into my temp, it's not in there, I don't think. Yeah. Let's go back in here. I can do a docker exec it into that container ID, and then run bin/bash. Then I can go and look in the temp folder, and I can't see anything. So if we run this command again, we've got the seed SQL script there. That's run. Now what I can do is run this docker copy command, docker ps, and then I'll run the docker copy command here. We'll change the container ID. And for everyone who's joining, we're just getting some information out of the Supabase container locally. And so I'm just getting that out of the Docker container, and I have successfully copied this seed script, which is nice. So then what we can do is just get rid of this, get rid of this stuff above. And then now I've got a seed script, which if I go into a new window in code, I can go one level up, and I can go into this auto case studies, and I'm just going to put that inside the seed.sql. And why this is quite nice is that means I've got an encrypted Stripe API key that we can immediately test with inside of that. So we can get rid of this now. We've got the seed SQL. I'm going to actually, for Composer, let me just get this Composer window here, bring this a bit lower. I'm going to go into Control Panel, and I'm going to create a new project and call it Stripe Data Pipeline for fetching data. And we're going to pull in all of the Stripe files that we've just been using. So for Stripe, and then we'll also put in the encryption routes and encrypt and decrypt. And we'll make this part of a project. And the reason why we're doing this is because what we want to do is then have the ability to just create composers directly from this project. So now I'm going to create a new composer, and then the problem we're having at the moment, I think the problem we're having is it's taking a long time to batch these Stripe customers. So now that we've got the ability to reset the database, and we've got seed.sql script, which is going to allow us to easily be able to log in, we can just do Supabase db reset. I don't really care about logging in at the moment or doing auth. What I care about is, can I specifically solve the fact that this is taking quite a long time? So let's have a look. We're getting an error on the SQL. Foreign profiles ID key to our seed script in, let's go up one layer. So our seed script in here, if I go up, so let's get rid of this. In Supabase, seed script, getting an error with this. Now you can also add this to Composer or Debug with AI, which is really nice. So we can just throw this in straight away from the terminal session. Let's have a look. So if I do this with the -debug, the -- debug, we can see why SQL is giving us an error for that. So this looks fine. So the error is the fact that we don't have a profiles ID foreign key in the users table. I think this is because we don't have it in the auth.users. So if I throw in my migrations folder, can you also add on a auth.users that would emulate the foreign key so that we can add one to the profiles table? Because I think that's the problem, right, is that we have a separate schema inside of Supabase, which is the auth.users, and the problem we've got is when we doing an auth.users, it doesn't have the it doesn't actually have this. So I'm just going to click run that and accept, and then what I'm hoping is, even though we don't have all the fields populated in auth.users, it might just allow us to create that entry, because there's a lot more columns that you would have in auth.users. So this might also run into an error, but that's fine. If it does, what's the error we're getting? So if I just debug this, have a look. I think the error that we're going to get is that the auth.users requires more columns. So even though we've used the same ID, we're getting this error on the public table. So let's just paste this in and see what Supabase says. Fix this error. Handling a new user. Remove the insert into public.profiles. Okay, so we could keep that, and then we could then just update this information. Yeah, I think that's what we want. So we're basically creating a user, the database trigger in Postgres that we have. So we've got a database trigger from one of our previous migrations, which will allow us to automatically insert a profile when we insert into the auth.users table. And then with that, then we then updating that single row in Postgres just so we can get some encrypted data, and that's done it. So if we have a look now, we've got one profile and we've got a encrypted Stripe API key, and then now we can forget about auth and having to redo that login. So now we can just focus on the server-side jobs, which is what we want to do. So now I'm going to go into Composer and I'm going to just get rid of this Composer and just go into this project up the top here. And what we really need to do is we need to come to a compromise, because at the moment the API routes are taking too long, and it would be great to get the total spent, but at the moment it's costing us a lot of time, and we don't have an edge function. We're going to have a function that times out in about 3 minutes for Vercel. So we're going to create a new Composer and we're going to reference this and say, I need to make the client cron job for fetching Stripe customers faster, even if this means we don't get all of the data. Let's maybe just get active subscriptions for now, and perhaps even remove the total spend. And I think this makes sense, because unless we've got enough time, we really do need to run a server-side job to do that. So at the moment, let's go into the control panel and see what Cursor is deciding to do. To focus only on active subscription and remove the total spend calculation to make it faster. I think this makes a lot of sense, especially as we're trying to do this in a day. And then we've got the profile ID still, we've got the customer ID, we've got the active subscriptions. Can we say what migration should we run on Supabase to handle for this new data structure as well? We'll accept those changes in Composer from the Stripe utils.ts and the route.ts. But now what we need to do is also, we're probably going to have to run some more SQL migrations. So you can tell it that it's getting rid of the total spent and the last payment date. And we're also altering this and using a JSON blob to store the active subscriptions. And we're also adding a trigger to automatically update the updated app with that. And then, so that's fine. So let's get that code, which is here. And Composer's not really that great for copying SQL migrations, I found. So I normally do this manually at this point. I'll just open the floating window and then I'll just go Supabase migration new, and then we're going to say cleaning up Stripe customers, and then we're going to push that there, and then we're going to go and into the Supabase migrations table and look inside that file and folder, and then we're going to go into this one here. I'm going to add in this here where we alter the table. Let's just make sure we don't already have a trigger for that. Doesn't look like it is, so we've got another trigger that's going to update the Stripe customers when we do that upsert. And then what we're now going to do is we are going to run that migration. So we'll be doing a Supabase DB reset, and then that migration will then run. And then what we're doing after that is then once we've done this migration, what we're then going to do is we'll have some seed data that comes from that seed.sql file. Let's have a look. Active subscriptions does not exist. Modify the active subscriptions. So what does it say here? Active subscriptions, alter column. So make a new column. Alter table. Add column if not exists. I think that's what we need. So let's try that. Now if we look at the code for the job, this fetch one now is basically decrypting the Stripe API key, listing the customers in a batch size of 100 at a time, and then if the customer's email is not null, we're mapping that getting all of their subscriptions and filtering them by that, and then we're storing the last payment date. So this one here, this job, let's have a look here. This is the one we're using now in Stripe Utils. So let's move this here and we'll rename it Fetch. We'll get rid of this one here because this one's no longer being used. And we'll name this to Fetch Stripe Customers. And then we're going to go into our route handlers for our cron jobs. And then we're just going to import instead of from Stripe libs utils, we're going to import from the job. And we're also going to have a look and see if there's any errors. Right, so let's try running that and see if that's a little bit quicker. So again, we've got one profile with an encrypted Stripe API key. And we've already, by the way, built the functionality to accept case studies. So this is what the functionality looks like to accept a case study at the moment. So if I go into the client directory, and then what you'll see here is we provide a UUID, so a UUID. Don't worry about the styling. I think that is because we potentially need to delete the next cache. So if I just do that quickly, and then let me just see why that styling is coming up like that. App maybe in the layout file. Let's have a look. We need to add in Tailwind. Tailwind. Do we have globals? We should have Tailwind in there. That's very strange. We just see, there you go. Yeah, it's just some Next.js jank as per usual. Right, so this is what the actual web page looks like. And then from here, if we just give this a second to load, so this is what it actually looks like. Then we can add on an email and a tool name, so the email automatically gets populated, and then they have like some information here. They can hit Command K if they want to move a bit faster, you know. And then when that gets done, we then are saving that. If we have a look, and then this is the case study that gets accepted. So thank you very much for submitting your case study, everybody. And then what you can see here is this is the information that is getting saved. Okay, so we can already save the case studies, and the profiles and the auth is already done, and we can already update a Stripe API key if we go through auth. And so yeah, we can go through auth using the magic link, and I'm actually doing this locally through the magic link button. And at the moment it looks like it's slightly temperamental, so I'm not going to focus too much on auth, but you can see the user did get created and they did get added. So that's the auth for now, but I'm not going to focus on fixing that problem because I think it's more of a local Supabase token refreshing problem rather than an actual problem. So what I want to do is I want to check and see how long does it take to run that server-side auth code. And one thing we're going to do is in the case study crons, when we send these, fetch these customers, we don't want to do these we want to do, so when we're processing a profile, so we get the profiles, we process a profile, and then we get the customers, and then we upsert those, and then we do profiles.map. Yeah, so we're doing this all asynchronously, and we're telling how many customers we processed. So let's have a look at this. So let's see how long this takes to run now. So it's sort of so we need data.descriptions. So let's go back into our jobs folder, which is outside the app, inside jobs, fetch Stripe customers, data.descriptions, and then let's have a look and see. Okay, so you sort of be making this, and I'm just going to get a timer going as well, timer 6. So we'll do a stopwatch. We'll see how long does this request take, because that's going to be quite important, is that we want to limit the length of this request. At the moment we're going to use Node.js API routes, but we definitely need to make sure this request is relatively quick. And I think the other thing we could do is list a larger number of customers. I'm going to say here, can we update the fetch Stripe customers to be a bit faster? This is the rate limit that we must respect. Hit 80% of the rate limit, which is this one here. Stripe API rate limits. So we want to rewrite this file because this looks a bit too slow at the moment, and I think the reason why is we're only getting 25 customers at a time. So let's have a look at what it decides to do. So at the moment you can see the limit, the batch size that we're doing increased 100 to reduce the number of API calls. So we're doing a batch size of 100 API requests, and 10 of those, which means that we're doing live mode, test mode 100, read and 100 write operations per second. Okay. So if we do that instead, if I cancel this request, what's the speed like on this now? So I just reset this. This is to process a couple thousand customers, so I'm quite interested to see how quick or not this is. So we're at 18 seconds so far. .34 seconds. How long do Dino edge functions have for their timeout? Dino edge function in Supabase timeout. Yeah. 2 minutes. It's not that much. Because we're doing probably quite a lot with the Stripe API at the moment. So this is taking quite a while. Been going for about 1:40 so far. What does Supabase functions timeout give us? Yeah, looks around like 400 seconds. So why is this taking so long? Let's have a look. Can you explain why this is taking so long to process? I'm thinking about moving this to use Redis as a backend for the task processing because it is currently taking over 2 minutes to process the Stripe requests for backfill. Okay, cool. So I think we'll leave it for now, but it's something that we need to be focusing on because there was 3 minutes there. Timeout for Vercel functions on the hobby plan is 300 seconds. So you're looking at we would hit that within 5 minutes. So we did manage to process those, and you can see those here. And we've got those ones here, and we've got the active subscriptions. Now, the next thing to do is, now that we have the Stripe customers and we are able to know which ones have active subscriptions, I think we should create a we should have a we need to then build on the view. So let me show you what I mean by this. So let's go into the code. So I'm going to sign in with that right email now because I want to use that data, which is this one here. So that's the James A. Phoenix @test. We want to sign in with that, and we want to log in into the magic link of this one, and then I'm hoping, maybe I've closed the server down. I have not. Where is my bucket link? Ah, yes. Let's have a look. Invalid date. Send magic link. User's email partial key. Let's have a look. So we're having an issue because the auth.users doesn't have that information. So what we need to do is probably log in with a better email. So I'm going to log in with my email. That's going to actually send a magic link. We're going to log in there. We're going to try and fix this login because it's crazy how this is still. User from subclaim in JWT doesn't exist. Let's have a look at that. So if I basically get rid of all of the cookies and stuff that I have. So if I go in here and I close the cookies, and then I just get a new magic link, and then I go to the dashboard. What is the error that I'm getting? It says auth session is missing. This is when we're using the Supabase client. This is inside the hook, which is happening here. Get user. So now we're just fixing auth code, which is very fun. So now we have the feedback and the settings. Let's go and dump in a Stripe API key. And you can see now we have 2 rows in our data. This is the proper one that we have here. where we've got this authenticated James Phoenix one, and then what we're now doing. So now what I want to do is let's imagine, for example, that we're going to run this data pipeline. So we'll have this data pipeline running. We'll just leave this. It will take like 5 minutes. It will take 5 minutes or so, but that should populate more data to do with the Stripe customers. We should get even more rows now because we're actually going to be getting the ones which have, from both customers. I think there's something wrong here with the number of records as well, so I'm going to tag that as a bug. Number of records in the Stripe fetch looks incorrect unless we are only getting active subs. Maybe it's fine because maybe we are only getting and filtering on up to active subs, but it's something we just want to have a look at and double check. So next thing that we need to do is we need to say, now that we have Stripe customers, I want to prepare to make an email campaign for each Stripe customer ID, and I want to expose that to the user in the feedback session for approval. So that's going to be a separate thing than approval. So we say, so what we need to do is, let's pull this into a new Composer project. So I'm going to go open here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create a new project, and we're going to call it approval for email campaigns. And then we're going to pull in all the relevant files. So we'll pull in Supabase, the migrations file, all these ones here will be useful. And then we'll pull in the dashboard layout, sidebar, all the dashboard and the feedback pages, and the header. And we'll pull in like the feedback form, feedback approval table, and the we'll also pull back in like the Stripe one as well. And then I'm going to make a new Composer, and I'm going to say I need to build 2 tables. One of the tables will be responsible for approving case studies that have come in from the case studies table. So that will be the case studies table. Secondly, I will need to take all of the Stripe customers and put them in an email campaigns table, and allow the customer to either multi-approve, multi-reject, single reject, or single delete. We need CRUD operations on the approval so that when we run our batch, so that each night when we run our data pipeline, we can take all of the approval customers and allow them to send emails with the links. I want to also have a setting for batch approval. I think that's it. So then we've got the ability to store the Stripe credentials, which is in the settings page. And then as well as that, we can also do things like the feedback approval. So that's fine. So I think that's what we'll do. So let's get to that in a second. So let's do that. So I also want to have a setting for batch approval, and that's what we're going to do. So we've made a new Supabase project, and we're specifically using some new database tables. Now it's telling us this case study approval table. Now let's create the database tables, case study approvals. Do we actually need that? Because we already have a case study status. So I'm going to push back and say I don't think we need a new table because we already have a case study status in the case studies table. So let's push back on Composer for that, because otherwise we're absolutely right. So we've got a case study approval table to work directly with the case studies table. Here's the updated version. We're now selecting case studies instead of non-existent case studies approval. We've simplified the data structure. Let's have a look here. So we do have these, which will go into the email campaigns, and we have the approval of the email campaign, which is pending. And we're also adding a public profiles batch approval enabled, which means that each user of this system can decide whether they just want to approve everything. And then that's one thing we didn't need. And then the table for this is the case studies table, which is getting all the case studies by the ID, company name, the status. And we're then basically allowing to handle approve, handle reject. And then what else do we have? Then we've got the table. And then so this is the case study approval table, and then the email campaign approval table will be getting all the email campaigns and approving those. And then we've got two new pages, which is the case studies page and the email campaigns page. I want you to add both of these pages to the dashboard layout. And we'll just get that to be done. Please do it again. So I'm getting disapproved. So where is this stuff being put in? Case study approval table. Got the email campaigns. Where's that email campaigns approval table? That looks fine. Let's just go back here and do a restart on the TypeScript server. Let's have a look at this, make sure it hasn't put anything naughty up there. Client, case study approval table. I mean, we could do this ourselves, that's not going to be too much of an issue. Dashboard, layout, and then we'll just change these. Dashboard case studies, email campaigns, dashboard settings, add a mail icon. Let's have a look. Let's do. So I'm gonna just go into signing in, and then we'll make a magic link. I might even, okay, it looks like I've managed to get this to work again. Case studies. So this is the case study. This is the email campaigns, unsupported server component type, undefined. So let's go into the case study route, which is here. I guess I'll just stick a use client on this. unsupported server component type undefined. Case study approval page. Export function. Import email campaigns. Case study approval table. Export default function. Let's try that. Still getting this. What is this error? Unsupported server component undefined. And let's also fix the email one. Email campaigns. If I put that one back to how it was. Let's see if email campaigns. So email campaigns doesn't work. Case studies. That works. Settings works. We've got our Stripe API key. Case study approvals. Let's reject this one. Okay, so the approve and the reject don't work. So why don't the, so if I do this, case studies approve, reject. Let's have a look. So we can just say, we'll go into this composer and say the approve and reject don't work. Also, I want to make sure that when make these work. Let's do that first. Get the approve or reject working. Okay, so that took 9 minutes to run that function. Let's try it again. Case studies. We do need the profile ID to know whose case studies are whose. Otherwise you just get everyone's case studies. So let's have a look at that. There's two things to fix here. There's the getting the case studies. Also the sidebar doesn't seem to close. Right, so where is this code? That's in the case studies component. I'm going to just close component for now and have a look at this. Approve and reject. Got study ID. Oh, I think it's because we're highlighting the row. I think it is because we are highlighting the row. Can we fix that? And then I'll also put also the sidebar isn't closing sometimes. And we'll just fix those two things to start with. All right. And then let's have a look now if I approve this or reject this. Draft. Let's have a look. I want to see if this function is even being triggered. So if I get rid of this handle approve, put that back the way it was. I want to make a new body here, stop the propagation, and then I want to just console.log e and see. Yeah. I have tried to stop the propagation, but whenever I console.log e, I can't see anything on that table cell. I need to attach the click event. Oh, okay. So we need to do this thing. Handle approve. I'm going to tell it to use the tan stack table. Tan stack table. I want to go to, I think, let's do these in the approval thing. So we'll say the case study approval and the email campaign one. Email campaign approval tables. I want you to make both of these tables using tanstack plus shadcn, and the shadcn documentation is for the table is follows. Let me show you table like this. And we'll just add in this data table link, add link, and get it to write it using tanstack because I think that might be a bit more reliable. I'll say, can you also make a generic pagination component and integrate it with both of these. All right, sweet. All right, accept all those changes, and then now we're getting some errors. Can't resolve tan stack table. No problem. I'll install tan stack table. Alright, let's run that again. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Let's have a look. Okay. Approve, reject, rows per page. Email campaigns, no results. Now, why am I getting this approve or reject? Does just not seem to work, does it? At the moment, let's have a look. Handle approve, handle reject. Okay. So we'll say, I need you to fix the handle approve and handle reject for the case study approval table. Does the sidebar go in now? That is the question. Want to make the sidebar collapsible. Okay. Approve and reject are still not working. If I change the status here, approved, we can see the status changes, but when I do this with the buttons, not getting anything. The buttons are currently not approving or rejecting it. Can we generate some custom divs on the right? Also, I need some cursors to highlight the case studies. We're going to do an extra change as well, which is we're going to update the links so that the profile ID is inside the links. Let's have a look. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Let's have a look. See if this fixes the errors. Case study approved, case study rejected. Case study approved. Case study rejected. Nice. Make the buttons centralized. Also, what I want you to do is make it green for approve and red for not approve. And now we're using dictation, so I'm using this app called Better Dictation, which allows us to specifically just dictate directly to Cursor's composer. So that is what we're currently doing. Right, so that's now building. which is great. Got the approval on that. Added hover effect, visual, that's nice. Also we'll apply those changes, just have a little look. No, I'm not happy with those changes, so I'm going to revert. And I'll just probably do that myself later on. And we want the cursor pointer. Cursor. Okay, case studies. Let's do the email campaign approvals. Oh, a couple things here. I want you to change all of the links that go out for email campaigns to include the profile ID, so that we can also change the case study collection so that we have a profile ID / UUID for route. We need to do this so that we can appropriately attribute case studies against specific users. And then I'll just give it a couple of files that we know it needs to change, so like the email, send email campaigns, we need to change like the case study form, the case study wizard, also write any SQL migrations that we need to do to get the profile ID back in. That's updating the send email campaign. We have the campaign profile ID. And then accept all those changes, and then we should have also got a change to the routing structure for the case study. Oh, we didn't get that. I want you to change the routing structure for case study / submission ID. This now needs to have the profile ID in it, as well as the UUID for. Also, did you update the wizard? It's really important. You also updated all the forms that we were doing. Nice. Update the cat, so we're updating the wizard. Can we also update the data fetching on the case study approval tables so that we only pull in the relevant case studies for that specific profile ID, not necessarily you know, all of the ones in the case studies table. Is that okay? There we go. Now we're just YOLOing with cursor and just basically asking it to update all this stuff. Let's have a look. Modify it to only pull the relevant case studies with a specific ID. Let's have a look. Equal to profile ID. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that looks fine. Just applying version 7 of this update. And then what SQL migrations do I need to run? I think we might need to do a SQL migration here, which is probably so I'm going to just check to add that migration. Add profile table. Yeah, this looks good to me. Next thing I'm going to do is just dump in all the errors. I think we're probably fine. Profile ID. So we need to pass in. If I close this for a moment, let's have a look at these errors. These I don't not too worried about. Case studies. This one here is the one that needs to go instead of this one. Case study page. So we need to get the profile ID, and we can get that from const user use user, and we'll just get that from the hooks. User, and then we'll get loading, if loading, profile ID to this one here. That fixes that. It's good. Got to fix this code here. Fix this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Right, let's reload this and see what we're dealing with. So we'll do Superbase DB reset. Make sure we haven't created another migration by accident. I just want to fix the dashboard layout quickly, so we'll do sidebar, dashboard layout. The sidebar is not collapsing when I click the hamburger menu. Whilst that one's going, we'll just have a look at our SQL migrations, insert into schema migrations. Sunshine. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Please log in. Still getting this login error though. Alright, let's clear all those cookies and hope for the best. Alright, dashboard overview, case study approvals, email campaigns, case study approvals. Let's generate a case study. We get the profile ID. Case study and then profile ID. And then submission ID. Okay, so this is still wrong. Maybe we should just make this the profile ID. And then we'll just generate a UUID here. Using the UUID package. And then the only place we've got to update is our API in our cron, send campaigns. When we send our email campaigns, we now just send the profile ID. Right, so I think that simplifies the case study routing where we just do this and then it will create a case study, and we can still add on the other things we had like the tool name, test, and the email is equal to james@test.com. Ooh, we don't have this one, it's redirecting. Interesting, so let's go and fix that. That happens in the case study wizard when we're doing a handle next. On submit, we're redirecting. Yeah, here's the problem, we need to redirect to the, I think we've got a thank you route for this, to the /thank you route. The data got saved though, I guess, which is good. We've got the right profile ID being attached, so we've got a reference back to the profiles table, and then this would have, if we did it properly, now that will redirect to /thank you. And /thank you then just looks like this. Oh, and you can also do the tool name as well. So add on the tool name here too. Yeah, so then it looks like this. Alright, cool. We're getting somewhere. Right. So let's go back to the dashboard. And for now it looks like I've just logged myself out again, so I'm just going to go and log in. Right, I have a case study. I need to, so can I approve or reject it? Doesn't look like this is working. Stripe API keys working, case study approvals are working. Let's get case study approvals working. I think we can make this code. So that is in the dashboard case studies page, case study approvals. Draft. Say the actions are not working in this. Okay, why is this not working? Handle approve. The handle approve and handle reject are not working. Can you make this into a custom renderer? You can always just click apply to entire file, click accept. Action renderer. Put it all in the same file, but get it working. I'm going to throw this just into a separate composer. Don't know if it is due to propagation errors or not. Okay, I'm going to put on there, fix the approve / reject buttons for case study approvals. And then let's go and do the email campaign approvals page. I'm going to go over to this one here, which has got everything, and we'll pull also in the extra files that we've now got for our project. Email approval feedback. So what one is the one we want, which is the, let's have a look here, looky. Email campaign approval table. Email campaign approval table. This is the one. And then we'll say new composer and put that back into the control panel and say I want you to build whenever this page is loaded, we need to move any now we're going to load the Stripe customers as well, so I'm going to get that data pipeline running. That'll take about 5 minutes or so. So we'll get that running for this single user. So that's ingesting from Stripe. And then whilst that's running, we'll say, whenever this page is loaded, we need to move any customers from Stripe that are not already into the email campaigns table. I want the ability to auto approve all, select multiple and approve some, delete some, delete many. We don't want to delete, we just want approve some, select multiple and disapprove some number of rows. Approve all. Improve and then we'll just get this case study table. You need to make this super dope. My job depends on it, and now I'm showing you how you can actively use dictation inside of Cursor Composer. So now we're using a better dictation. Alright, sweet. So let's go and create a new composer with that information, paste that in, let's go. Case study approval table. No. We say this should not be changing the case study approval table, but this should be changing the email campaign approval table. Okay, let's have a look. Case study approval, which is quite nice, so you can now approve selected and approve rejected. Auto approval, case studies approved. What about on the email one? Approve selected. If I go back here, case studies, reject selected. Let's remove the actions for the email campaign approval and these case study approval. Or maybe we should just fix those, yeah. That's great. Email. I also need something so when a user loads the email campaign approval, we check against the Stripe customers table and move all of those as new rows if there are new ones into the email campaigns table. Then we reveal the table in the email campaign approval table. All right. And now, because there's one case study at the moment, we've successfully synced Stripe. If I click accept all, now if I go over to here, the email campaigns page, at the moment I don't think it's doing what it said it should do. If I go to the app, I go dashboard, email campaigns page. Let me check oh, so I don't have any data. Oh, it could be because we maybe reset the database. If I just add a row in here, oh, it's already got a default. Profile ID, select that one, test. Well, that was a case study. No, we shouldn't just add that manually. Case study should not sync. Case study should not have this synced one new customer. Where's that coming from? Synced. We don't want this. Right, that's fine. And then this one, we should only get, so I'll put it back into Composer. Let's go into this one. We'll say we should only be adding new rows to the email campaign with a check to see if they already exist. We should table only add new rows, and then the other thing as well is we should always add on the profile ID. You can get this from the user hook if need be. And then I think we only just have to send emails, which is already done relatively. Got the case studies, got that collecting. I'm just changing this bit here. Alright, let's have a look. So if I go here, approve and reject look like they're working. Interesting. So I'll just say that you are creating duplicate rows. You need to make this idempotent. Failed to string. Have a look. We need another on conflict. Probably going to be a SQL migration for that one. So we'll do super base, DB reset. What's the problem here? Duplicate key validates unique constraint. Oh, okay. Yeah, we just had two timestamps that are the same, causing a duplicate key error. Okay, makes sense. Base start, base start. I think we've already started, which is good. Seed into the client, and then let's have a look here. So we'll have nothing again, apart from that unique dummy data. So we'll need to log in. Just going to go and clear the cookies. To log in again. There we go. Okay, there's no case studies to approve. Let's assume we go and make a profile for that. and we go and get case studies. So we go case study and we go to that profile. The name. Failed to commit case study, what happened here? Case studies profile. Profile ID. Oh, it's because we did it on one that doesn't exist. So we actually have to use a valid profile ID like this one here. Nice, case study complete. Then we've got a single case study. So you can see here, you can approve all of these. And then here, if we have a customer, we want that to sync. So imagine we have a Stripe customer, so we'll just go and create one with the same profile ID that we have. Or you need something in the email. And look, there you go, look. Now we've got a duplicate on this, so whip up a quick composer. We'll say, I want you to stop the multiple toast notifications on the case study approval table. Also, when auto import is turned on, when the user visits the case, this will be on the email approval. The case study approval table, we need to auto import turned on. We need a server-side job to automatically I think we'll do that later. We should only get one post notification when landing on the page. Loading email campaigns. That hasn't worked. Put the code back to the way it was. Oh yes, we need to enter a Stripe ID in here. Now, do we have one going into the email campaign? That's good. So we're not making more now. Batch approval enabled. I'm going to say across both the case study and the email campaign approval table, we should have a unique piece of global state that is mirrored to the profiles.batch approval enabled boolean. Any help with this? Avoid changing anything else though. Okay. Got case studies, and we can reject the selected ones. Got some React context, I think. Pulled in some context. I'm going to say, can you wrap the batch approval provider in a client-side user client because it is using React context. No, just put it in the client layout folder. Got some context now. I know that it does exist, so I'm going to ignore that error. That's fine. enable batch approval. Auto approve. We'll say approval. Okay, so we've got disable batch approval or enable batch approval, and then the last thing I want to do is let's remove the actions from both the email and the case study. Remove both the single actions from both the case study approval and email campaign table 2. Number 1, set the rows per page to be 50, and then the other thing I want to do is I need a new column inside of the case study, which will then call OpenAI and will generate a markdown version of the case study with all of the data, both tables. You must make sure that we are making an insanely dope case study. I want you to add a button to generate all of the case studies that don't contain this column on the case studies table 2. Also add a client-side filter for approved. Client-side filter for the case study status on that page. We really need to do a good job at this. I will install the OpenAI package. Make the code amazing. Okay, we're nearly there. We can basically add case studies from a link. We can approve emails that will get sent by a server-side job. We've got Stripe API for pulling the emails. So we're on the home straight. So the last thing we really need to do is just basically generate some really great content for that. After these are generated, we're going to need to add an OpenAI key to play around with those. So I'm just going to go and filter my screen, and then I'm going to go into the .env file. Let's have a look. I'll add an OpenAI key there as well. OpenAI API key. Okay, OpenAI API key. Okay, let's have a look at these tables. I want to use a server action to call OpenAI. I have made an environment variable called OpenAI API. So what am I going to call it? This API key. Main environment variable called OpenAI key. Make it into a Next.js server action. Fix my code, and then we'll also install the OpenAI package. Okay, that's done. Right, I can now share my screen again. I've hidden my environment variable file. Cool. I'm going to get this error here. Let's just paste that straight into Composer. I'm going to stand up. Got about an hour left, so the main thing I'm going to be focusing on is basically making sure that we can generate from a case study the actual OpenAI generation. So let's have a look at that. Ah, I found this. Found it. Project tool. Got this error here. Alright, let's keep fixing this code, everybody. Got OpenAI in the server action. Okay, right, now the last thing we need to do is if I click this generate button, what actually happens? Be able to generate case study. Generated markdown. Okay, so we can't find the generated markdown. We've got the generated markdown. So let's go and add that as a SQL migration. So this will be inside of the case studies table. So we'll just have an extra one called generated markdown. And I also want to add an enum for generated. I want to say, can you also change the, oh, let me see if it didn't have one. Yeah, can you also update the status of each case study row so that we change it to generated after the server action runs. Generate case study. And whilst that's doing its magic, we'll do a Superbase DB reset. And then we'll click apply, accept those changes. And I'll also say I want to also have different colors for the buttons for let's see, so if I do, okay, so that's started again. Right, let's close this down and then we'll go here. And then we're going to go into the, so we're going to sign out because we won't have an auth account anymore. Go back to Superbase stack, got no profiles apart from that one. Right, so now what we need to do is we need to go and sign in. So I'm going to clear all the cookies again. And I'm going to go sign in with a magic link, pop in there, get the in-bucket link. And I'll do that one more time because it looks like it's still a bit fragile on Superbase's end. They really need to sort that out, but that's not my problem. Cool, so we don't have any case studies at the moment. So like if you do this generate case studies, we should also regenerate the types. I'll just do that quickly. Whenever you're doing SQL migration, just always regenerate your types because now you can see the types are actually going to come in a sec. So you can see here, let's have a look. I do generate types. And I go to CD client, dev. And then there you go. The types have now been updated, which is good. So this will update all the case studies. If there are no case studies, then simply say no case studies to generate. And we should, if we have a look here, no case studies to generate, which is what we're looking for. Again, we can't do any of this stuff. Case studies approved, case studies rejected. Enable batch approval actually updates here in the batch approval approved, which is good. And we've also got, so let's go and add our Stripe API key in, which is a read API key. And then let's also then generate a case study on behalf of this customer. I think on the dashboard we should share the case study link that clients can share. So let's get Composer doing that whilst we generate one manually. So we'll make a new project and we'll call this dashboard homepage. And then we're going to put in the dashboard page, which is dashboard page here. And then we're going to make a new composer and say, I want to make this page more useful to users, provides some idea about what the application can do. Number one, tell them to visit the settings page and set up Stripe. Number two, we need the users to make a really nice card sharing their personal case study link and add copy to clipboard with a use hook. The link can be obtained using /case study and then case study and then /profile ID allow them to add query parameters which are stored in local storage. For that component, I will make that, but make that page a bit more useful. We've got the email approval, the case study approval, we've got the Stripe integration, which is now set up. Let's have a look at this. We need to get the example profile ID, so let's go and get that. I am working on a case study collector DJ dev, and this case study collector basically does it automatically for clients. So you put in your Stripe credentials, it reads the customers, the invoices, the subscriptions. It will then populate this email campaign approval whenever you visit this page. Oh, interesting. You don't have to import React in version 17. Yeah, it's because I've got a type in for this. So you can see here react.change event. So that's why I'm doing that. Unless you've got a way to get around that, I'm all up for learning how I should add this import React. Do name import is better. Also do like a change event like that, right? And then put it there. Yeah, is that what you're thinking? Rather than adding all of the React stuff. Yeah, that's nice. Cool. So then once we have the if it's loading, it's this. Then if not, then the profile ID that we get here, copy to clipboard, the profile ID, I need to set this on here, example profile ID, handle tool name change, case study, and then get user.id. And there we go, look at that, lovely. So now we've got a localhost link, maybe like for 4 years or so. And then now we've got this. I think I can even change this to process.env.next public app URL. Let's have a look. So that's undefined. So I'm just going to mute my screen and have a look inside of my .env file. Here we go. Next public base URL. That's what I've decided to call it. Right, now I'm back out of the env.local file. So now obviously I've got this local host that we can update. Now I can ping this link, and then we can do throw someone in here like this. So let's come up with a fictitious story using Grok. You are being interviewed by a company with really long answers. So now we can just throw this into Grok. Tell us about your company. It is a data engineering company. Yes, I am. Are you from the UK? I am indeed from the UK. Who are your clients? Let's just get a load of this content. Lovely, lovely job. How do you use data engineering? Oh, awesome. That's cool. How do you find Serbia? How is it in Serbia? All good? So this is what we've built, like this case study collector, and then basically the user goes here. Ooh, even better food for shitty pay, yeah, I know how you feel on that one. So check this out, so we made a case study, we dropped the case study in here, and then we've also got some server-side jobs that can now run on the Stripe API, and at the moment it's running in a Next.js API function, but it looks like it's a little bit buggy, so I'm going to have a look at that at the weekend. Yeah, it's super base. It's on the local stack, so you can basically just develop locally. Now, we have a case study that we've just collected from our link that we've given on the dashboard, which is super dope. Now, you can see that that case study's just appeared, and then at the moment it doesn't have a status. We can put pending review, and then what I want to do is now it looks like we don't have the ability to, so if I click generate case studies, let's see, so that will be now running a server action here. What statuses do we have available on the case studies now? Pending review, approved. So this one here was a pending review before. Has that server action come back? Profiles, generate a case study. So I think we do something where when we click the generate case studies button, we have to So we'll say, let's go back to our approval for email campaigns. And we'll say, new composer on, let's see, on the, specifically on the case study approval page, we need a way of figuring out that when we're generating these case studies that the button cannot be spammed. So what I would recommend is making sure that that user can only hit that one button until the server action has completed. That's the case study approval page. We also need to provide a link for the user to download their case study. Use the same copy, but we'll make a new one if you need. It depends. Probably like 35 to 50, 60k. Alright, so here we go. So we've now got the ability to have a look at this. It looks horrible if you're not on desktop, but hey ho, we've only got one day. Right, nice. Accept those changes. And here we go, look. The company background. Right. Next.js gets so slow when I try and run this big fat API request. It's really struggling. Let's say, what else do we want to do? I'm going to close this down, see if I can load another page. I'm definitely not going to do this data pipeline inside Next.js. I don't think it's going to be able to cope. Let's cancel this data pipeline for now. Right, so let's log in again. Make a case study quick. Data engineering is what we do. We do lots of full stack software development, LLM development, and building full stack web applications. We have lots of clients ranging from small to medium-sized businesses and doing lots of work in the LLM space. I do data engineering with a lot of passion and also a lot of vibes. Definitely it was struggling before I had to use this tool. I think this data engineering tool has really helped innovate our techniques. The impact that it's had has been insanely useful. I couldn't live without this tool now. Cool. Case study is done. Drop that case study in there. Let's have a look. Right. Got 2 case studies now. And then we've got, if we go here, when we generate a case study, what state do we put it in? We put it in a draft state. Pending review, approved, filtered, generated, no. Oh look, so now we can copy them. So we can download them. So I can say generate case study, so it's generating them all. And then I think the only thing we need to do is revalidate this path potentially. So we'll just wait for the server action to go, and then you can see, oh sweet, so it's actually updated the state. And now we could download these case studies. Say approved, approve these. We could reject these case studies. Now the one thing I want to do is filter by status. I want to build out all the statuses we have. So we'll say approval for email campaign changes. Case study, this one here, this one looks good. Can you also change it so that we have a magic wand next to generate case studies? We'll also say, can you add by single toast notification, so when we send a case study generation, it just says generating case studies. Have a look here. We've got a Stripe customer. We've got one Stripe customer here, and we don't want to. We only want to insert those if the profile ID is not null. Yeah. For the email campaign table, we must wait for the profile ID to not be null before doing a row insert. What other things might we want to improve? We can generate the case studies. Oh yeah, we need to add all the extra statuses. Add all of the extra statuses for the case study approval for table, such as generated, etc. We'll just pass in the migrations files for that. And then what else do we want to do? Generate tables, approve all. Approve all should change the select statuses. So if I do reject and then I approve all, if I then go back and say reject selected, if I do approve all, approve all on the case study table should change all of the cells to approved. I think that's probably everything. And then I think we've done it. Well, I think we've done it. That's nuts. Right, I'm going to finish this up on Sunday, but I think we've managed to build a little mini app in like a day. So we've got a case study approval. We can like reject a case study. We're going to update the status of those. We can download these case studies. We'll change the, and then we can also generate case studies. And we've got this batch approval, which we could use to run server-side jobs to basically just keep generating the case studies and keep sending emails. And then we've got the ability to get customers from Stripe using read access. Let's also do all those, and then we'll make a sweet homepage to finish it off. And then I'll tidy it up on Sunday and give it away to Johannes. There we go. We can do an onboarding session, and maybe he's feeling generous and he wants to get my equity, but we'll see. We'll see on how that went. I think, yeah. So a couple of things to do, which is fix the server-side jobs for Stripe fetching and also for email sending, and I'll put that as a bug. I think that's something we just need to have a look at, and then we're just about to do this. We need to add in a Stripe API key for later on, but we can put that to the backlog. That's now included in another one, so we can just change this to cancelled. Fix the approval feedback. So and we're going to just accept all here, and it's done. Case study set add value. If not, set status to draft. Don't think we need this draft or published because we've already got that. I think. Let me just double check. Stripe customer case studies. That will be in the status section, which is around here. Draft, published. We've already got those. Yeah. Don't need that one. Going to get rid of that migration. So let me just move down Composer. Turn that off. Get rid of this. Alright, let's see if it fixed all those errors. Right, so we need to log in with an account. I'm just going to log out here. Go to the dashboard. Settings page. Case study link. Boom, puts people into a case study. They can even add their tool onto it. Let's get rid of these. So let's generate a new case study. So if I generate a new one, make sure my profile ID is the same. We do a lot of full stack web development and building LLM based applications for small to mid-sized companies. We have a range of clients and they involve talking with marketing companies and also data engineering companies. We've been using the tool for a while. It's been really, really good. Thank you very much for building this tool. The process before for this was really painful and we had a lot of problems with it. It's had a great impact on our services. We find that using this tool has been really impactful. Right, that does the case study flow. Got a new case study, company name, and that should go into draft. Now if we have a look at this, now I've got one in draft. got that from the company. We haven't generated it. We've now got a slight issue with the generate case studies being slightly larger in size than the other ones. Is that because of this icon in here? Yeah. So we need to make that icon smaller. That's inside the case studies. That's inside the case study approval table. It's this one here. Generate case studies. Generate case studies button is slightly larger because of the one icon. Please fix. That hasn't fixed it. I need you to fix the button generate case studies is the wrong color and is slightly larger because of the magic wand. Make these buttons a bit different for their UX. Oh, okay guys. But now the buttons are on the side and not together on the x-axis. Sweet. Can you keep the approved selected and reject selected aligned to the left? And approve all generate case studies and disable batch approval on the right. That looks good. Now the buttons are not horizontal, are vertically stacked on the right though. Oh, okay, just adding a flex there, cool. Alright, so then this is generating case studies and it has like a hover, and you can see it spinning. And then this is generating, so you can't click this button again, which is important. And then we've just got to wait for it to finish generating. And then we can download our case study, which looks a little bit like this. Alright, let's go for a push for the last 20 minutes. Let's see if we can integrate Webflow. So Webflow will say, let's have a look here, we'll say Webflow integration. I want you to allow a user to add on Webflow publishing. We will put this actually in this project. We'll start a new composer, publishing. Can you allow us to have it where they can have a button for publishing a single row in the case study table. Also add that they need to set this up in the settings page, page 2. Let us know what SQL migrations needs to be run. Alright, add Webflow settings. The other thing I'm going to say is can you improve the experience by encrypting API keys for Webflow 2? Alright, now we're rocking, guys. We're going to probably get an error here. So you've got Webflow settings, you've got your API key, you've got your Webflow site ID, and in the case ones, we can now publish to Webflow. This is insane. This is insane, man. Oh my god. Right. Okay, so next thing we need to do is let's do a Superbase DB reset. I'm actually going to sort of say this fix any bugs within my code, and then whilst we're waiting for that to run, let's do a Superbase DB reset. Okay, so we've added that migration. Now we'll go back into the client. This is nuts. Right, let's log in again. Clear the keys. I don't have a Webflow account. Oh Jesus. Oh well. Webflow published. Just clear all these cookies as well. I'll ask it to revert those changes. Can you revert the most recent changes? Looks like we've got a validation tail. No, I think we could leave that. Let's just cancel that for now. Let's go and try and figure out what's happened. Any actions? That's fine, we can regenerate the client. New web flow. We need to add the collection ID and new web flow. We'll say need you to add some more columns for the collection ID in my profiles. Also, let's add some more documentation on the settings page about what the collection should have on it. Superbase, DB reset. Settings in Webflow. Oh, we need to put this in the settings section, dashboard, settings. actions, the generate case study. Like that. Look at that. Publish a Webflow. Webflow API looks good. Let's have a look at it anyway. I haven't ever published a Webflow, well, in this kind of application, but we can at least see that these settings are there. Just hit accept on all of these, I think. Workflow. Okay. What a day, guys. We literally, in about 6 hours of cursor, just spamming accept, were able to get quite far, which was really, really fun. I'm just going to go and I'm going to close down this and then start it up and then do a couple of different workflows inside the app, and then I'll be deploying the application on Sunday. So Johannes might be joining me, or it'll just be me riding solo deploying this application, but we've finished most of the application today, which is good. It's what we were kind of planning to do. So we've just got those migration files, get the components here. Webflow settings form, I think we've already got that now, so get rid of that. Got the client folder. So I'm going to go into the client. We have started up Superbase again, and if you have a look now in our Superbase local stack, we now have a couple more tables, like one's website, Webflow API key, the Webflow site ID, and the Webflow collection ID as well. Now if I log into the case study AI, let's have a look. So we've got this, send the magic link, pop the magic link in, need to do that again, let's just do that again. Yeah. Might need to reset the cookies on this, and that's probably the issue. Yeah, it's the issue. Let's just reset the cookies. Cookies, and then we'll just fire this up, load in here, and then we'll go to the dashboard, and then we get a personal Cuddy link with, let's say we're saying Leadsy, and then this link then allows people to share your experience with Leadsy, and then you can do something like this, just understanding data. With radio wizardry. Right guys, so I'm going to end the stream here. I'm just going to make sure that this stuff still works. And how do you use these? Let's just check that. What was the logo URL I had before? I had one. On my way. So we'll just get a LinkedIn photo. We'll just put any random URL in. I mean, it doesn't really matter for now. Alright, the case study still works. Right, nice. Okay, and then if we have a look in the local database, we already have one case study now, and we can then go and have a look at that case study, which has now appeared in the dashboard for the user. It's in a draft, they can decide what to do with that, and then we can also generate the case studies, which will take the output of that and will then generate it. And then once this has generated it, it should hopefully update this piece of state. So we've just got to wait for that to come back. And then you can download your case studies. So I can go have a look at that. Alright, and then I can also click that and I could try and publish it to Webflow. Now it failed to publish to Webflow, and the reason why it's failing is we don't have any of these credentials. So that would be something we would have to do, is add those on. and you've also got the ability to add in Stripe customers, and when you do that, then we need to fix this bit, which is the data pipeline. But if we were to, for example, add a Stripe customer, so if I was to add someone testexample.com, and I add that to this profile URL that I've just signed up with, and I'm like blah blah blah, and then what I can do is if I go to this page, then the users come in, and I can choose to approve these people, and then once these people are approved, then I could then send them emails automatically with the same kind of link that a manual user can do that we've made for that case study route. So we can basically give them this, and then we can decorate that with the tool name and the email address to automatically fill that information in. And then those would then collect as case studies, which we can then use a simple LLM prompt to basically click on this button, and then it will generate all the case studies. And then you can copy those, or you could even publish those directly to Webflow. All right, guys, I'm so happy that we managed to get it this far. I was a bit worried, but we've really hit the nail on the head here. So yeah, again, thanks for tuning in. We've got like our simple dashboard page. You've got the settings. I'm going to work, by the way, on the data pipelines on Sunday, and make sure that Stripe and the Webflow, and that we can automatically get that syncing, and that the email campaigns are also going to be automatically being populated as well from the server-side jobs. So just in case, that's something I'll be working on. And then got that enable or disable batch approval, which we need to fix the button on, so I'm going to put that there. Fix the button color for disable batch approval. And that's it. Right, everyone, I'm going to tune on out. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and hopefully it inspired you to look at using Cursor. Yeah, Cursor is really great, and I would really recommend it. You see that and also one other thing that I really recommend is looking at Supabase and using that locally, and you could see how quickly I was able to develop. And yeah, so there we go. And then you've got these email campaigns that also looks like I need to clean that up, so I'm going to put that as a bug, because we should never be pushing unless we have a profile ID, so let's also tag that as a bug. Fix the email campaigns ingestion. Perhaps we don't do this on the client side, but do this on the server side. I think that's probably the better way of doing it, just removing it there. I'll put that there. And then, yes, we've done this. I think we're going to refactor the Stripe API route to run as a long-running server-side job using Cloud Run jobs. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll get the app deployed, and I'll fix a couple of these bugs. And yeah, hopefully that gave you an appreciation for how you can use like Supabase, like to develop locally. They've got a really great service, and a shout out to Mark and Shipfast for providing such great boilerplate code. So I'd really recommend checking that out. It's a really great piece of boilerplate code, and I want you to think about how you can extend that by also using things like Cursor and adding in those prompt templates, using Cursor Composer, and just working through all the errors that come along the way. All right, everyone. Yeah, peace until next.